Assalamu alaikum, grade 7th. I hope you are doing well. I am your English teacher with the lecture of English grammar, and today we are going to read direct and indirect speech. Then it is said that in English language when we convey the message of one person to another person, we use two ways. First one is direct speech and the second one is indirect speech. These are two ways that we use to convey the message of one person to another person. When we talk about direct speech, we can say that the actual words of a speaker are called direct speech, or the as it is words spoken by a person are called direct speech. When we talk about indirect speech, we can say that indirect speech we make changes according to the sentence. Sometimes we change subject and object according to the situation and according to the sentence. For example, sometimes we have to change only subject, and sometimes we have to change both subject and object. For example, we can see that direct speech: Mr. David said, I want to meet your parents. And indirect speech is Mr. David said that he wanted to meet my parents. Here we can see that we use that after removing the inverted commas. Indirect speech, and we have changed your into my according to the sentence. Let's see the other example. Mr. John said, I bought a book for you. There is a rule for this sentence. It is said that when there is a sentence in past indefinite, then we have to change this into past perfect tense. And indirect speech is that Mr. John said that. Here we can see that Mr. John is male. That is why we are going to use he. He had bought a book for me. Here we have changed you into me according to the sentence. And now we are going to understand the main difference between direct speech and indirect speech. Direct speech, indirect speech, the actual words of speaker are quoted. We can say that the as it is word of a speaker are enclosed in inverted commas. For example, he said, I am going to school. Here we can see that I am going is in inverted commas. Indirect speech, the actual word of the speaker are changed. The reason is that this sentence is said in the past. That is why according to the first part of the direct speech, we are going to change the second part of the sentence. We can see that he said, I am going to school. Here we can see that said that is underlined. It is the second form or the past form of say. That is why we are going to the next part of the sentence in the past tense. For example, he said that he was going to school. Here we can see that we change I into he, and the present tense into the past tense. To understand direct speech and indirect speech, we have to know about reporting verb and reported speech. Reporting verbs. The verbs of the first sentence, for example, said, says, these are the reporting verbs. For example, he said, I am listening to music. Here we can see that the word said is underlined, and that is reporting verb. Reported speech. The second sentence that is enclosed in inverted commas it is called reported speech. For example, he said, I got a job in college. Here we can see that I got a job in college in inverted commas. This is called reported speech. There are some rules for direct or indirect speech. Let's read. Present simple tense will be changed into past simple tense, and present continuous sentence will be changed into past continuous tense, and the present perfect tense will be changed into past perfect tense. I have made some sentences according to the rules. You can see. Let's read the basic rules for indirect speech. Rule number 1 is that words of the speaker that is the actual speech are not enclosed in inverted commas. And the second point is that usage of word that, the conjunction that is always used between reporting verb and reported speech. For example, we can see that he said, I write a letter, and indirect speech is that he said that he wrote a letter. Here we can see that we have used that after removing the inverted commas, and we change I into he according to the subject and this sentence and situation. Point number 3, change in tense of the reported speech. When there are two parts of direct speech, the first part of the sentence and the second part of the sentence. If the first part of the sentence in past tense, then we have to change the second part of the sentence according to the first part of the sentence. Let's see example. Direct speech, he said, I am watching a movie. And indirect speech is that she said that she was watching movie. Here we can see that said is the second form or past form of say. That is why we are going to change the verb I am into was and I into she. And the one important thing about these rules is that if the first part of the sentence in future tense or the present tense, then there will be no change in the second part of the sentence. For example, he says, I am playing cricket, and we can see that he says that he is playing cricket. That is why we use that after removing inverted commas, and we change I into he according to the sentence. The fourth one rule is that change in pronoun. The pronoun of the reported speech is sometimes changed according to the pronoun or subject or object of the reported verb. For example, if the first part of the sentence in the past, and then we have to change the second part of the sentence into the past tense. That is why we have to change the subject according to the first part of the sentence. We can see that direct speech example. He said, I eat 2 apples. And indirect speech, he said that he ate 2 apples. We can see that we change I into he, and we change the verb eat into past verb or past form of verb. Rule number 5 is that change in time. If there is time mentioned in the sentence of direct speech, then the time will be changed in the indirect speech. That is why if there is a change in time in the indirect speech, then we will make change according to the first part of the sentence while making indirect speech. For example, she said, I am buying a laptop today. And indirect speech is that she said that she was buying a laptop that day. You have to learn all these rules and the definition of direct speech and indirect speech, and you have to note all these rules and definitions on your notebook. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.